Unfruitful branches are only made to be cast aside and burned. If you had a tree and you planted it expecting a harvest, and when you went to that tree, it had nothing on it, you'd say, well, it's cumbering the ground. It's taking up space. It's not actually producing any fruit. So you'd cut it down and burn it. Use it for firewood or some shit. But these are unfruitful branches. And what does that mean? That means people that so-called are teaching you or are preaching to you that are not bearing fruit in you. Understand this, Israel. If someone's teaching you out of the scriptures, then you should leave knowing more scriptures than you knew before you left, before you arrived. You should leave filled with more information than when you arrived, that you can verify yourself. You can go home, open your Bible, and find it for yourself. Each one of us should be able to do this with what we're taught out of the Word. But a lot of you are going to teachers and you're leaving barren. You're not bearing any fruit. See, because what are the fruits? Do you all know what the fruits of the Spirit are? And do you all not know that this is a spiritual walk that we're on? You're being fooled by the flesh. That's your test. Your own flesh suit that you're wearing with its needs and desires and wants. And we're supposed to overcome that and conquer that. Well, how do you overcome the flesh? How do you overcome those dark desires that the flesh is asking for? The lust, the malice, the hatred, the greed, the envy, the covetousness. How do we overcome that? And see, those unfruitful branches are teaching you, they're teaching you man's traditions and man's ways of how to overcome it. Not what the scriptures are telling you to do, which is to allow love to lead every choice and every decision that you make. Because if you do that, then you can't lose. And then you're set free from the illusion of the flesh. You'll start to realize you didn't need those things that you thought you needed. You didn't need those friends that you thought you needed. You didn't need that mother that you thought you needed. You didn't need that father that you thought you needed. You don't need that job that you thought you needed. You don't need those colleagues you thought you needed. You don't need those connections you thought you needed. The time that we're living in right now, America, that's what's happening. People are waking up and realizing, I've been slaving. And now that they've had this time to sit and think finally, they're starting to say, I don't want to go back to work. Fuck that. Shit, I've been chilling with my family, sitting back, relaxing. And what does that do? Having the time to sit back and relax with your so-called loved ones, what does that allow you to do? It allows your love to grow for them. See, brother, when you're at work all day and you're not allowed to be with your family, it's hard to grow that bond that you need with them, with your children. Most of their years when you're young, you're out of the house, you're working, or you're not there. You and the mother fell out and now you're not together. So the kids don't usually have any relationship with you because of that. And a lot of you now, because of this shutting down and everything, that the Most High has given you a chance to sit down and be with your families, to go back home, stop going over your side bitch house, to go home to your wife now, reconcile with her, admit all of your faults to her that you've been doing all up until this point. And the same goes for you, sis. Y'all supposed to be doing that right now, confessing your faults so that you can be healed thereby. But y'all don't know those words. That's a script right there, by the way. But y'all don't know that, to confess your faults one to another so that we can pray for each other and be healed. Y'all don't want to do that. Fuck that. I'm just going to be with this nigga for 30 years and never tell him the truth about what I've been doing. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? Because you don't believe love. So then how do you follow what the scriptures are telling you to do then? How are you connected to God if God is love, but you're doing the unloving choices? Who are you listening to then, Yisrael? This is simple questions I'm asking you. It's not hard at all. If you take that fucking foreskin off your heart and let these words enter into your ears and really listen to them and answer them honestly, you see, wait, hold on a minute. I can't get around what this brother is saying to me. How can I expect to say I'm following God, who is love? According to the scriptures, God is love, simply put. If he is love, then how am I following him if I'm not being loving? If I'm being hateful, how can I say I serve God, regardless if I keep his commandments or not? Because truthfully, if I'm being hateful, I'm not keeping his commandments, you see? Because all the commandments, all of them, it says in the book of Romans, that all commandments are summed up in this saying, love your neighbor as yourself. It's not hard. You got niggas that's running around here like Rap the News and everybody else talking about that's blasphemy if you do that. That if you listen to what Hamashiach taught us, because nowhere in there did he say don't keep the commandments. Hamashiach never said that. He said I come not to destroy the law, I come to fulfill it. And then Romans told you how to fulfill it, niggas. If Christ said I came to fulfill the law, and Romans said that love is the fulfilling of the law, then what did Christ do? What was Christ doing then? He was loving. That's how he fulfilled Torah, because according to scriptures, that's the way you have to fulfill it. That's the only way you can, is by loving your neighbor as yourself. So that's what Yahusha did. And all through there, you'll see he's being tried by these Jews for breaking Torah. That's all they're caring about. You healed on the Shabbat. You shouldn't heal on the Shabbat. You see how they're not choosing love? They're choosing the letter of the law. Can't you guys see how obvious that is? And that's what Rap the News and niggas like him are doing today. They're doing the same thing that those Jews did, guys. And y'all can't see how obvious that is to see. So if he was to send one in his likeness, Yahusha that is, if he was to send one, which he says that he would, send the comforter, if he was to send one in his likeness, they would say the same about him. He's blaspheming. He's making himself one with God. He's an idolater. Then if I'm making myself one with God, where is my idol at? Then where is it? I don't carry it with me. I don't live in a house with one outside of myself. I don't serve any God outside of myself. So what are you talking about? Because his name is I Am. It's going to be very hard to find a God outside of myself if his name is I Am, Rap the News and everybody else who's listening. This is so simple to understand this. And in order to understand another doctrine like Rap the News doctrine, you have to distort scriptures. Now, if you don't have to, then what is he doing on his videos? Every time somebody asks this nigga a question about anything, what does he do? He turns to his famous line. It's infiltrated, it's a mistranslation. It's infiltrated, it's a mistranslation. And look at this. And you guys are telling me it's not about a man, a wife and his family. Even the geese understand the simple concept of that's living. Look at this. Even he understands that that's living, and you guys can't understand Abba and his family and his house. And that's what the Aleph Bet is all about. For all of you so-called Bible scholars. For all of you so-called Bible scholars, what is the Aleph Bet about? A man, a father, and his house. You see? And even the geese understand this. Look at Pops. Making sure everything's safe and sound. He's like, let me go check out this nigga who over here hollering. No, man, we came to manifest for y'all, man, to free y'all too. We came to free you too. So that's all I'm saying, Yisrael, is that we have to see who's a fruitful branch and who's not. And the way that we see if they're a fruitful branch is we know the tree by its fruit. Another script. We know a tree by his fruit. So when he's questioned about the word, how does he respond? Let's see his fruit. Because forbearance is a fruit of the Spirit. Patience is a fruit of the Spirit. Kindness is a fruit of the Spirit. All of these things. So when you're challenged on the scriptures, how do you respond to the person? Do you answer them with a straight, clear, concise answer? Or do you attack them? Do you call them a faggot? Do you call them gay? Because if you do that, then maybe you need to study the cycle of acceptance. Google that shit right now, Rap the News. Because you're exposing the shit out of yourself. As soon as you tell somebody new information, they respond in that way, attack you. Instead of what you're saying. See, because if he stood on a rock of truth with ease, he'd comfortably explain his position. But he can't. Because he doesn't stand on the rock of truth. He's lying. He's lying to you. He's keeping you away from the way, the truth, and the life, which is love. He's not steering you to love, is he? Is he pointing to love? Is he saying, you guys, I want to tell you that if you attain to love, then you've been perfected and your fear will be cast out of your life. And so that's what we should focus on, Israel. That's what we should be focused on. Not tearing down the true vine who taught us these things and focusing all our attention on tearing down the truth while saying that we're building up the truth. Because my question to all of you, and my question to Rap the News, and Rap the News, if you watch this video and you happen to hear this message, put your comment down there in the comment section to this one question. I want to ask you one question, and you put your answer down there. If we keep all of the commandments, but we have not love, will we enter into the kingdom of heaven? Put your answer down there in the comment section to that simple question. Now, moving on. Unfruitful branches, Israel. Listen. You will know them by their fruit. You will know them by what comes out of their heart. Because out of the abundance of their heart, the mouth speaks. So whatever your heart is filled with, that's what's going to come out. So if you hate evil, you'll shun down evil. If you love good and righteousness, you'll build that up because that's what your heart is filled with. And this is how you shall know. When you meet a person, when you know, when they're talking to you, when they're so-called teaching you out of the scriptures, when they're so-called enlightening you. Because there's nothing else to enlighten a person about except love. And y'all want to argue with that. And the scriptures attest that that's the stone that the builders rejected. So what does that mean? That means that's the stone that they don't want to use when they build the temple, when they build the house, when they build the boat, when they build the structure, when they build whatever the shit they build. Whenever the builders build the shit, they don't add that ingredient in it, and that's why it falls. Can you deny this, Israel? You're so goddamn hard-headed and hard-hearted. Snatching the shoulder away every time Abba tries to reach out to you. You wonder why you keep failing. You wonder why you keep getting killed. You wonder why you keep staying destroyed. You wonder why you can't rise up and stand on your own 2 feet. You wonder why you got no peace in your home. You wonder why you got no peace when you go to work. You wonder why you got no peace when you go in and when you come out. And you wondering why. Why is this? Why? Why? Because you're not a loving person. You reject the thing that saves your ass, which is love. And if I need to save somebody, I better have love in my heart or I might fail. And y'all acting like that's not the force that moves us to do the things that we do. You act like that's not why the man gets up and goes to work every day. And he takes those lashes on his back from the world that tell him he ain't shit. But he come home and he put that check on the table and he feed his family with pride. And that's love that pushes him to do that. Is it anything else, brothers? Or is it love that make you do that shit in the morning? Make you get up at 3:30 a.m. every day. Hit the gym. Keep your body tight. Keep your mind right. Reading your scriptures. Loving on your family. Trying to walk this walk straight. When you're falling, you're scraping your shit. I know. You're busting your head and shit, but you're getting back up and you're trying again. Even at times your woman is turned against you. I know how it feels. But you keep striving and you keep enduring because you stand on what the promises were. Y'all sitting here all confused about the branch. It says, the time will come. This is scripts, everybody. The time will come when I will perform that good thing that I have promised to the nation of Israel and the nation of Judah. The house of Israel and the house of Judah. So he's going to fulfill his promise to us. And what was his promise? That we would inherit all of the land. That was the promise he made to Abraham. I will give this to your descendants. He's going to fulfill that. When? When the branch comes, according to scriptures. And that's why we have to get our house in order. And how do we get our houses in order? By clearing out our hearts of all the nonsense, all of the lies, all the deceptions, all the bullshits, and get our garments clean and ready for our bridegroom. You think getting ready for your bridegroom is being a hateful bastard? You think that's getting ready for your husband when he comes to get you, or being of a pure heart? Which one do you think it is? Being prideful and puffed up, or being meek and lowly? Which one do you think you need to be today? And niggas like Rap the News trying to keep you from the bridegroom. Trying to keep you from being saved. And you too damn blind to see this shit. Because what's wrong with Yahushua's message, all you fucking haters? What's wrong with what he taught us? That if we love God with all our heart, all our mind, and all our soul, what's loving him more than that? And that's what he taught us. So what's wrong with it? Then what's wrong with it? And love your neighbor as yourself. And if you do these things, you'll be pleasing to the Most High. That's what he taught us. And y'all want to throw stones at the brother? Y'all want to throw stones at the king? Y'all want to kill him because he said love? Because you're so scared. If I keep the letter of the law, I have to keep the letter of the law. I'm going to be mad at me. He's going to whoop me if I don't keep the letter. If I don't keep the laws perfectly, he's going to whoop me. You better cover your ass because he's coming to whoop, because you can't keep them shits. You can try as hard as you want to. You're going to mess up. You're going to fail. You're going to fall and need grace at some point. And for all of you niggas that's trying to keep that law to the T, where does your grace come in at? That's what I need to know. What is your grace? What is your atonement for your sins that cost blood, like breaking Shabbat or committing adultery, lying with another man's wife? These things cost blood, your blood. How can you pay for it if you've done it? And we've all done the shit. Who's paying for that stuff? That's how you know this nigga's a liar. So that's why you have to be filled with love today. But you're too afraid. Like I told you, Abba will whip me if I don't keep his commandments. If you love, then you will be keeping his commandments. Y'all can't get it. Y'all don't understand the simple concept that if my brother has something nice, like a nice car, and I got a hoopty, I pull up next to him. He got a nice car. I can't look up and say, hey, damn, bro, that's a nice ass car you got. Shit, I can't wait to get me one of those. Instead of having that attitude, I go, fuck that nigga. That nigga think he's somebody. All the women looking at that nigga ain't even looking at me. Because that's how most niggas think. And you can't see which one is wicked and which one is not. You can't see which one is loving and which one is not. You can't see which one is keeping Torah and which one is not. So I'm keeping Torah if I'm wearing my fringes, sitting in my car, hating on my brother who has a nicer car. I'm envious toward him, but I'm keeping Torah because I'm doing it secretly in my heart. Even though the Most High, who sees in secrets, you see? He sees in secret. Do you see? So you can't hide how you feel. But y'all niggas all run around here acting like you're loving because you smile when you see a person. You hug them when you see them. You gave them a few dollars when they needed something. You talked to them on the phone when they were having a rough day. So you're loving them. But meanwhile, you're stabbing them in the back. You're cheating on your spouse. You're hating your brothers. You're stealing other people's wealth. You're doing nothing but stealing, killing, and destroying. But you're doing it underhanded and secretly, which is what this whole world has been about all these years. It's doing things underhandedly and backwards. Everybody knows that the Hebrews wrote from right to left. So how in the hell we write from left to right now? Because something is reversed. That right there, that little simple little thing right there should show you somebody's twisting shit. If you wrote the original scriptures right to left, how come they're written from left to right now? Who did that? Who flipped that around like that to cause confusion? Somebody who is confused. Somebody who is crooked. Somebody who is backwards. Somebody who is wicked. Distorted. You see? Only he would do that. Only a wicked person will create wickedness. That's it. I told you, a good tree cannot bear evil fruit. An evil tree cannot bear good fruit. It's that simple. That keeps you from being confused when you're out here in the world dealing with people. All you gotta do is look at their fruit. How do they treat people? How do they treat themselves? And then that will tell you, oh, hell no, stay away from this nigga. Stay away from this guy. He denies love. How the hell are we gonna win without that thing? I just need to know. How are you gonna build anything that you build and leave love out of it? And expect it to succeed? See, and in these days, the only people that will be able to survive in these days to come are people that are speaking the truth of the Most High Yah's name. They must know his name and they must speak truth about it in love. Those are the only people that are going to be able to make it. Because you tell me right now that when all this shit hits the fan, which is already doing it, and shit gets crazy, if you're sitting in your house saying, I'm fucked, I'm dead, they're going to come kill me, then that's what happened. Oh, fuck, I don't have any food, I'm starving, then that's what happened. And many people, oh, I'm broke, I have no money. Many people are about to say those words like that. So what do you think is going to happen? If you remember, as a man thinketh, so is he. So if you're thinking that and feeling that, then that's what will come for a lot of you in these days. Majority of you are going to suffer by your own words because you're speaking his name in lies. You don't even know you're doing it. You're so egotistical, you think you're talking about yourself. And you're talking about Abba Yah, because his name is I am that I am. So whatever you put after I am, that's what he is. And that's what you are. Because you're one. And niggas like rap can't understand that shit. But you separate I am when I use it from me. And that's God's name. So you separate us. Can't nothing separate me from the love of God, man. Nothing. No space. East, west, north, south, sins, lies. None of that shit can keep me from the Most High. Love. Don't you know that? Love conquers all. So you niggas that think you're going to stand on anything else other than love will be conquered by love. Simple as that. You can't deny it. You will be conquered by truth and love. So all these people that are in these days of mayhem and madness, if you're speaking, I am blessed, I am loved, the truth of I am, then you'll be blessed in the day. See? And that's called righteousness, because that's called right thinking. You see? So the branch is coming to bring righteousness, justice, judgment to the earth. Right thinking. So if anybody claims to be the branch and they're not telling you truth and love, and they're not telling you the Most High's name and how to use it properly, then they're a liar. Then they are a liar. Because that is his message. And he's coming to bring judgment, which means he's going to curse down wickedness. He must bear these marks if he's going to be this person on the earth. He must be the one tearing down wickedness and building up truth and love in the last days. And setting righteousness and justice, fairness, balanced scales. See, because all of you have been dealing with iniquities, unbalanced scales. That's what iniquity is, unbalanced scales. So depart from me, you workers of iniquity. I never knew you. Like rap. I never knew you. Bye. Shit. I know what the hell you're talking about. You don't got love in your heart. Bye-bye. If you don't got love in your heart, bye. And you tell me if you think you're going to enter into the kingdom of heaven without love in your heart. You tell me that. Can you do it? Is it possible? Is it possible to enter in without love being, my heart being filled with perfect love? Is that possible? That's what I'm asking you. Who's listening to this message? So humble down to this truth before it's too late. And before you're trapped in everlasting darkness without a chance of hearing the Most High's word. Because there's going to be a famine in the land. Not of food and drink, but of the words of the Most High Yah. And they're going to seek to hear those words, and they're not going to be able to find them. So come home before it's too late, Israel. Siloam.